Welcome everybody once again to BIZ NFL Football 2019. Week number 8 is here. I want to welcome everybody, especially the new folks that have contacted me asking to get on my distribution list. I had several people this morning, several people this week. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to all of you that have watched these videos all year, and welcome to the guys that have been with me forever. Great day here in the Bay Area, Northern California, East Bay, in the 70s. My power hasn't been shut off. We're having wildfires again in Northern California, shutting down power in a lot of counties, but I have not been hit, thankfully. I'll be a little distracted during this video. I'm watching this college football TCU, our 2-unit play. It's on my iPad. Got a lot of stuff this week. A big card of NFL football. Got the BIZ best bet. Got a Stewie best bet. Got the Florida Pete BIZ combo play, which has been on fire, college and pro. We got a new triple combo play. Florida Pete, Stewie, and the BIZ. A 3-way combo play. Looking forward to that. The crew is here. Stewie's here, the BIZ is here. You're here, I'm here, my vodka is right here. Next week I will not have any videos. No college video, no NFL video. I will be attending the Breeders' Cup in Los Angeles. My time will be spent on handicapping the races. If you want my plays, get on my distribution list. Contact me, you know the number, the email. I'll put as many on Twitter as I can. I can't promise they'll all be there. I can promise that they will all be on my email. And going forward, I'm thinking of not even doing college videos anymore. I might just do the NFL. These college lines bounce around like crazy. The money comes in, lines move. I got a text this morning from Florida Pete. Says, I'm not playing Army after I gave it out yesterday in my video. They lost outright. Didn't like the line movement, the money coming in. I looked at it. I agreed. It's too late to change it. So I'm really thinking hard about not doing college videos anymore, just putting those out on an email Saturday morning, the way I used to do it. Because too much information comes in that could change a play, weather, whatnot. So NFL videos probably going forward only. If you are interested in the Breeders' Cup, get a hold of me. I've had some of my biggest days at the track on Breeders' Cup Day. If you're interested, get a hold of me. I'm going to put out a Breeders' Cup report. Small fee just to compensate me for my time and the money it takes me to buy the data. So if you're interested in the Breeders' Cup, get a hold of me. If you're interested in the NFL, don't go anywhere. Because I've got all kinds of plays. They're locked and loaded. Totals, sides, no teasers. But we got best bets. We've got combo plays. We've got Sunday afternoon football, Sunday morning football. We got the Sunday night DGen special play. We got the Monday night double DGen special play. We got 2 DGen special plays. I got you covered. Morning, noon, and prime time. All games are covered as we get into week 8 of the NFL season with BIZ and his crew, Rosie and Stewie, the BIZ. Looking forward to another winning week of NFL football. Let's move forward with last week's review. Oh, we must have won, because that sounds like Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top. 6-3, 2.5 units. We're up to 59, 29, and 3, 26.1 units, and 67% winners. Great season so far. Going for our 8th consecutive winning week. We'll do it from the hole since that overplay I gave out Thursday didn't get there. When you kick 17 field goals and you got 25 drives inside the 10 and you can't get it 1 touchdown, that's the recipe for an under. But nevertheless, we're going to have a winning week anyway. Last week, let's go over them real quick. Kansas City, Denver, that Thursday night under, never in doubt. Mahomes got hurt, wouldn't have mattered. Broncos scored 6. Rams, Atlanta under, that great system where you're playing an under where two teams have given up a ton of points lately. contrarian play, you'd think, oh wow, these defenses suck, they're going to suck again. They don't, and they didn't. The Washington Redskins with the Florida Pete BIZ combo play, a 2-unit winner. I had some knuckleheads tell me that was a lucky win. I'm like, really? So the Redskins miss a field goal. The Redskins fumble inside the 30. The Redskins get stuffed on 4th and 1 inside the 30. They have 3 trips inside the scoring zone to get 0. And they're getting 10. But they were lucky they covered. No, you were lucky that it wasn't more of a cover. And you're lucky they didn't win. You're lucky about that. Niners, Redskins under, never in doubt. They should have had a 12-unit play after the weather report came out the way it was. I should have made it a 2-unit play just based on the systems. You guys saw the video. Tons of systems on that play. But your genius Biz here just gave it out as a 1-unit play. It's the one I regret last week was just making it a 1-unit play. Colts, Texans under, loser. Raiders, loser. Derek Carr with his patented, let's reach the ball over the goal line from 2 yards away and watch it slip out of my tiny little hands. Again, don't know if it would have mattered, but that completely changed the game. Loser. Giants, Cardinals over. Best bet, loser. Tough loss. Rosas missed the field goal for the Giants. Could have sent that to overtime if he'd made it, possibly, but at the very least it goes over. Didn't quite get there. That's a 2-unit loser. And the Vikings and Ravens, 2 games that were good on the models, 2 games that I liked from a stat standpoint. Liked the fact that I gave out a couple winners that had nothing to do with systems. Just had to do with breaking down the game and looking at the models. A couple of nice winners to end the day. I did pass the Saints like a complete moron. Passed it. It's just a horrific decision. I hope some of you ignored me because that was just dumb. But I did it. Let me tell you something. The difference between me and a lot of these clowns. There are people on Twitter. This is one guy, Ed the Stat Man. He's having a really good season, but this guy can do no wrong. I mean, he puts out a winner and just like, they just brag out themselves constantly. I'm 67%, but you know what? I still take the time to blast myself when I do something stupid. I do something that's not really smart, and that's the difference between me and a lot of these other guys. Is these other guys just want to just blow themselves when they have a good week, a good season. I'll never do that. I'm never going to blow myself. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to see what did I do wrong and where can I improve. I don't care how good you do. You could always learn something every week you do this. And so I try to learn every week as we go along. What did I do that I could have done better? And one of those things was not passing the Saints. And the other one was pounding that under. But it's over and done with. We're 6-3 for the week, 2.5 units. We'll take it and we'll move on. So, on to this week's plays. All right, Denver, our first play. They're getting 6, and this is one of my favorite plays. You guys have seen this several times this year. It's the dog that's off of a blowout loss. It's a non-divisional game. The Raiders were a play a few weeks ago against the Colts. Trying to think of who else was a play. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but you've seen this several times this year, and it's hit several times. And what I like about it is it really makes perfect sense. You got a team that's got embarrassed, and they want to make amends for that. The Broncos qualify. Also, both models support the Broncos. I told you about the models I look at. Hold on, guys. Jesus Christ, TCU. 3rd and 16, you give up a fucking pass. And so, both models support this play. And that game is actually down to 4.5 right now. I gave that out on Twitter earlier in the week when it was 6. It's now 4.5. It's still playable. This line is dropped. And what's interesting is this line is dropped with 75% of the bets are on the Colts and 72% of the money are on the Colts. Yet this line has dropped 2 points. And you're also getting the better defense. The Broncos allow 19.4 a game and the Colts allow 23. So you're also getting that little nugget, the better defense getting points. So we're going to take the Broncos getting 6. If you haven't played it yet, if you didn't see my Twitter, it's now 4.5. They're still a play. They still qualify as a play. So the Broncos are our first play this week. Denver plus 6. If you didn't get it, it's now plus 4.5. That dog of between 3 and 7 off a blowout loss has been very, very good. 85 and 23 historically, and it's been good this year. Broncos. All right, the Eagles. They looked horrific last week against the Cowboys Sunday night. They fit 3 systems. Okay, we're going to fade. This is a play against the Bills. We're going to fade a home favorite that previously played at home. They're a winning team. and last year they did not make the playoffs. That's 48-9. We're going to fade that same team, a winning team in the first half of the season, similar to the one I just showed you, 53-12. And then we're also going to play on the Eagles, a team that doesn't cover against a team that does cover. It's a non-divisional game in the middle part of the season. That's 61-21-2. So the Eagles fit 3 really nice systems. Here's a few more things about this game. Now, Buffalo is getting a lot of pub about their defense and their good team, and they're a solid team, but there's something about the Bills. I think they're a little bit of a sell high here. When you look at the teams they've beaten, who did they beat? They beat the Jets opening week. Okay, they beat the Giants when they were struggling with the quarterback situation. They beat the Bengals at home. We had the Bengals that week and they covered. They struggled with the Bengals. They beat Tennessee, and the reason they won is because Coach Vrabel just made some of the most boneheaded decisions you can imagine in that game, and Marcus Mariota is just inept. But they did beat Tennessee, and then they beat Miami last week. And here's the thing about beating Miami last week. Miami had a better time of possession. Miami had more total yards. They had more first downs. And Miami had more third down conversions. The Dolphins, the worst team in the league, outstatted them all over the place last week. The Eagles also beat the Packers on the road. Packers are one of the better teams in football. They went to Green Bay and they beat them. And when you look at the power ratings, Green Bay is 5 points better than Buffalo on the power ratings. Yet in this game, the Eagles are only a plus 2.5. Now they're getting one fewer point. That line should be bigger, but it's not. So you also Buffalo is just a team that I like them. I mean, they're a solid team, but they're not an offensive juggernaut. Philly just got blasted. It's a big game for Philly. They're still in the race for the NFC, obviously. It's early in the season. They're game back. They're getting 2.5 on the road. They've got a tough schedule coming up, I believe. And let me look. I looked at the Philly schedule, and I think they have some tough teams coming up. They come back home. They're on the end of a road trip, but I just think this is a good spot for Philly to just get an outright win. So I'm going to take the Eagles, getting 2.5. They got 3 nice systems. Buffalo just did not look good last week against the Dolphins at all, and I think this is a good spot for Philly to bounce back off of that really bad primetime loss too. Love teams that get blasted in primetime. Let's take the Eagles plus 2.5. We're also going to take the over in that game, over 42. It's not the biggest sample size in the world, but it is 19-3. We're playing on a road team, the Eagles, that's on artificial service. The previous 2 games, Delta points scored is less than 0. And what Delta points scored means is that they scored less than what they were supposed to with regards to the spread and the line. So they've underperformed on offense the last 2 games, and they lost on the road as a dog by double digits last game. So these teams have a tendency to bounce back. They have a tendency to perform much better offensively. And we're going to take the over 42 in this Eagles and Buffalo game. I have some notes written down, so if you see me kind of pause or whatever, it's because I'm kind of looking for some notes here. All right, so we're going to take the over 42. Rams, Bengals, under 48. This is a really nice spot. This system is 25-2 going under. And we're playing a team as a previous road favorite, which is the Rams. They have a good turnover margin, and their opponent previously had a negative turnover margin. So the Rams were a road favorite. Cincinnati turned the ball over last game, and there are a few other filters in this system, but it's gone 25-2 to the under, and the Bengals just can't score. I mean, they score 16 points a game, so they really struggle to score, and I look for this game to go under the total of 48. So I'm going to take the Rams and Bengals under 48, and the guy for Texas is wide open for a touchdown. And now it's 17-10 Longhorns. All right, so we're going to take the under 48 Rams in Cincinnati. Giants plus 7. I told you I like some dogs this week. Take the Giants. I gave this out. It was plus 7. I think I gave this out on Twitter. It might be. It's 6.5 now. I mean, you can buy it to 7 if you want. 6.5, 7. The Giants. Again, this is that poor spread team against a good spread team. The Eagles also qualified. You see, this is 61, 21, and 2. It clicks at a high percentage. Both these teams give up the same amount of points on defense, 26.7. The net rushing is the same. Detroit's biggest win this year has been by 3 points, so they have not been blowing people out. They were lucky to beat the Chargers, that game we talked about, where that was a gift from the referees when they beat the Chargers. They beat a Philly team that was really banged up at the time, and they've lost to the Chiefs, Packers, and the Vikings. They've beaten up on bad teams, or they've beaten bad teams, but they've only won by no more than 3. So I'm going to take these inflated points. Giants have a really disappointing loss at home against the Cardinals. I think they could come to Detroit, bounce back, a little better weather than last week in a dome. The Giants have played well this year at times, and I think that they could keep this game close. I just think 7 points is just too many points to lay for a Detroit Lion team that doesn't win by a whole lot when they do win, and the teams they've beaten have really been the lesser teams in the league. So give me the Giants plus the 7. All right, the Cardinals. We're taking the Cardinals at New Orleans. Now, this line is 10.5. It looks like Brees is not going to play. I saw he was ruled out. So this line looks like it's going to hold at 10.5. This is an undefeated system. It's 20-0. We're going to play on a previous road dog win, which the Cardinals are. They won at the Giants last week as a dog. It's a time of possession play based on their time of possession, opponent's time of possession. See, the opponent is a solid time of possession team. This is a 20-0 system. And also look at the Saints. When they're at home, when they're a home favorite of 7 or more over the last 5 years, they're 5-12 against the spread. Last year, Tampa Bay beat them opening week. The Browns played them tough last year as a big dog at home. At times, they could really underperform at home against teams they're supposed to throttle. With that potent offense in a dome, a lot of people think that that's the case. They're just going to throttle teams, but they've had a tendency at times when they're sizable favorites at home to not crush these teams. Bridgewater is 28-7 against the spread. That is one cause for concern, but I'm going to take the Cardinals. They've won 3 in a row, and yes, they have not beaten the best teams in the world, but they've been playing pretty well, and the 10.5 points is a lot of points. We're going to take the Cardinals plus the 10.5 to at least stay competitive and cover against the Saints. All right, next thing we have is an underplay Tampa Bay and Tennessee. It's 45.5. I like the under here. It's a 23-66. Over is 23, under 66. Again, this is the one we hit last week with the Rams and the Falcons, where you're playing under where our teams, the last 3 games, they've allowed a lot of points, which is the Buccaneers. Allowed a ton of points recently. They are off a bye. This system is 10 overs, 36 under since 2014. It's 0-5 when it's off the bye to the under. The over-under is 2-15 if the opponent scores less than 18 points a game, which Tennessee averages 17 points a game. I know Tannehill came in last week, had a really nice week, really nice game, 23 for 29, 312 yards and 2 touchdowns. So maybe those scoring average numbers are a little skewed because those are with Mariota, who's not played well, and Tannehill's in the game. But nevertheless, we're going to take Tampa Bay and Tennessee to go under that total of 45.5. So Tampa Bay, Tennessee under 45.5. And we're also going to take the under in that Carolina-San Francisco game. Again, couple of systems here, 24-60 to the under. A previous road favorite, it's a non-divisional grass game, and the opponent's previous game they had a bad defensive effort. Carolina, they went to London, played Tampa, gave up a lot of points and yards. So that's one spot, and the other one is a home favorite. They were previously a road favorite, which the Niners were, and their opponent gets most of their first downs through the air, which Carolina does. Carolina throws for their first down, so that one is 27 overs and 75 unders. We're going to take the Panthers and the Niners to go under 42. San Francisco allows 90 yards a game rushing. They're 9th in sacks. The Panthers are 1st in sacks. They also only give up 134 yards in the air. They are a really solid defensive team. In their last 16 games, they're 11-5 in the under. I like this game to go under. Carolina and San Francisco under the total. All right, the Raiders plus 7. They're at Houston. And we have 3 systems on the Raiders. You see right there, 32-10, 21-5, 45-15. Tough loss last week at Green Bay. They've been on the road forever, which is my only concern. They play on the road here against the Texans. I think this is like their fourth game away from home. They've been on the road forever, and then next week they finally play a home game against the Lions. So this is the end of a big road trip. Net rushing is about the same. The Texans are 5-9 at home. Their last 14 games against the spread. I think the Raiders could keep this competitive. Off of that, they had a tough beat last week. They were competitive for the Packers for about a half, and then, like I said, Derek Carr committed that ridiculous fumble that he's now become famous for, and really turned that game around. So there are the three seasons for the Raiders. 32-10. You're playing a dog. Previous road loss with an average offense. It's a non-divisional game. Got the 21-5 system there. It's that non-divisional sandwich game between two division games for Texas, and they're off of a loss. And then the last one, that's 45-15. The previous three games, they had a great rushing defense, and they're not a road dog. It's a non-divisional game, Texans. So we're fading that team, the Texans. So we're going to take the Raiders +7 to keep this competitive. Raiders are a little banged up. I think Jacobs is going to play. But I like the Raiders to keep this competitive. Texans haven't really been blowing teams out, so it's another spot where a team's giving up quite a few points. So let's take the Raiders +7. Okay, Cleveland. Yes, we're going to step in front of the New England freight train. New England's been covering every week, it seems, but the Browns are really a funny team. They get blown out of home by Tennessee. Then they whip the Jets, who had a backup. Then they played the Rams stuff on a Sunday night. They go to Baltimore and beat them. They fly cross country, get shellacked on Monday Night Football against the Niners. Then they go home to Seattle and play a really competitive game, and they let that game slip away. So they can be competitive against good teams. Seattle, Baltimore, the Rams. New England's a different animal, but I'm going to go ahead and take a shot with Cleveland at 13. They got some talent on the defensive side of the ball, and we're playing on a dog with an awful scoring margin, game 6 or more. Washington hit this first last week. The Jets 2 weeks ago against Dallas. You're playing teams that you would just think, and there's no way on earth I'm going to play these teams because they have an awful scoring margin, but they have a tendency to cover. We've hit it 2 weeks in a row. We're going to try for the third week in a row. We're also fading a team, New England, who's a high-scoring favorite. Previous 2 games, they've had a good defense, and their opponent's previous game was at home. That's 20-4 against the spread. So we have 2 systems that are pretty strong in favor of Cleveland. So we're going to take a shot with the Browns, getting 13, and hope that they show up to play and can keep that somewhat competitive. All right, we have an underplay again with Kansas City. We are on a lot of Kansas City unders, it seems. I got 5 systems for these guys this week. The first one, that under right there, the non-divisional grass game. We've had that. That was a play a couple of screens ago. I think it was may have been the Niner Carolina game, but we hit that earlier in the presentation. We also have an under where our team's off of a road win. And the previous 2 games, they had a good turnover margin. That would be the Niners. We also have 3 other ones here. A road favorite off of a big win. It's a primetime game, 5-19 to the under. We have a home team with great defense last game. The Chiefs, they allowed 6. It's a grass surface game with a total of 46 or more. That's 3-16. Kansas City at home off of a cover. They're 9-28. So a lot of things point to the Chiefs going under 48. Now, yes, they have a backup quarterback, Matt Moore. You got Aaron Rodgers. You got 2 pretty good offenses, but we're going to take this game to go under the total 48. Packers, Chiefs, under 48. All right, the last game of the week, and it's our stinker of the week. I almost made the Browns the stinker of the week, but if you're giving out the Dolphins as a play, then you really look no further for your stinker, because they're the worst team in football. But I'll say this about the Dolphins, is that for as awful as they are, they've actually had a pulse the last couple of weeks. And I always tell people, as bad as the team is and teams tank, these are professional athletes and they have pride, and you don't get to this level because you just enjoy having people stomp you and whip you and mock you and make fun of you. Miami almost beat the Redskins. Not the Redskins aren't a great team, but if they convert that 2-point conversion, they beat the Redskins 2 weeks ago. Last week, I mentioned in that Buffalo Eagle write-up, Miami won the stat sheet. They had a better time possession. They had more total yards, more first downs, more third down conversions against one of the better defenses in the league. And again, this is that awful scoring margin system that we've hit with the Jets, and we're on it again with Cleveland. Is it Cleveland that I just showed it on the screen, but we have it again. We've hit it twice in a row. We're going for 3 weeks, and we have it twice this week. Airplane overhead. And they also qualify in that bad road dog system up top. You see 53-16, a bad, almost a double-digit road dog. That's just a horrible team. They're 53-16-2. The awful scoring margin dog, 19-3. A couple of really solid systems for the dog. They're getting 2 touchdowns. And I mean, since when are the Steelers all of a sudden 2 touchdown favorites or something? They haven't been the greatest team this year. I mean, they beat up on the Bengals on Monday night, yeah. But that was a pretty desperate spot where they were 0-3 and they really needed to win. And you could say, yeah, they need to win today too. But the Dolphins, Fitzpatrick is in there, and they're playing some pretty good ball. I'm gonna take the Dolphins and take those 2 touchdowns and hope that on national television they can show up and play and give the Steelers a game. We're gonna take the Dolphins as our BIZ stinker of the week. The Dolphins catching 14 points. Monday Night Football, give you something to root for on Monday night also. So we got our Sunday night DGN total. We got our Monday night DGN side for you. Dolphins plus 14. Grab those points. All right. These are the plays for this week. 12 plays. In the morning, we got the Denver Broncos catching 6. Eagles plus 2.5. Taking the over in that game also, 42. Under 48, Rams and Bengals. That game is in London. Giants grabbing a touchdown. Cardinals plus 10.5. Tampa Bay, Tennessee under 45.5. The afternoon Sunday night football, Monday night football card is the Panthers and Niners under 42. The Raiders getting 7. The Browns plus 13. Packers, Chiefs under 48. Miami plus 14. That afternoon slate really would make a lot of people flinch. Like, wow, we're taking the Browns against New England. We're taking the Dolphins. Taking the under with the Packers and Chiefs playing 2 high-powered offenses. Yes, we are. That's what we're doing. So those are our 12 plays for this week. Now, here are our 2-unit plays for this week. All right, the Florida Pete Biz combo play. I said, Pete, what do you like? He says, dude, I think the Cardinals are going to be competitive against the Saints. I says, you know what? I like him too. 10.5. They talked about Breeze playing. He's not. Looks like Teddy's playing again. 10.5 points. I discussed why I like the Cardinals. Saints underperform at times at home. Couple system plays. 2 units on the Arizona Cardinals at the Saints. Another play where people might be like, wow, really? We're going to get in front of that Saints freight train? Yeah, we are. They've been on the road for a while, too. It's their first game home. And we're going to take the Cardinals. Getting 10.5. See if Kyler Murray could keep that game close for us. 2-unit play. The Florida Beat Piz combo play. Arizona plus 10.5. Stewie wanted a best bet this week. He's the man, you've been only giving out one best bet. I've been on restriction long enough, so I said, all right, I'll give you one. The BIZ likes Philadelphia plus 2.5. Thinks they're going to bounce back and discuss that game earlier. It's Philadelphia, awful loss on prime time against the Cowboys. Love those spots. You look awful. You're embarrassed on national TV. I know the Eagles have their issues with some injuries with the wide receiver spot on defense, but the Buffalo got outplayed by the Dolphins last week. And I'm not going to say they were looking past the Dolphins because the Eagles were coming to town. Miami's a divisional game. You don't overlook divisional opponents. And Miami outplayed them. I'm not sold on that offense of the Bills. Not sold on Josh Allen. I know Philadelphia went into Minnesota and put points up on the board. I know Philadelphia went into Green Bay and they beat the Packers. So I don't know why they can't go into Buffalo and beat them. The weather does call for some wind, about 15 miles an hour on the wind, but I'm going to take the Eagles plus 2.5. The Giants, talked about that game. That's too many points for the Lions to give up. They haven't won a game by more than 3 all season long. Defenses are the same. Their net rushing is the same. Kerryon Johnson's out for the Lions. The Lions were lucky to beat the Chargers. I'm not saying the Giants are going to beat them, but I'll take that 7 points. I'll take it in a heartbeat. So your 2 best bets this week. The BIZ best bet, Eagles getting 2.5, and the Stewie best bet, Giants getting 7 points. Look at those 2 faces. Those are some trustworthy hounds right there, and they say 2 units on each of those. All right, now we have a special Florida Pete, BIZ, Stewie combo play. See Stewie over there on the right, BIZ on the left, the Miami coastline there for Florida Pete. Everybody likes this play. I actually had to talk Pete into it. I told him I'm doing a Florida Pete BIZ Stewie combo play. I said, this is the one I'm taking. He says, okay. I said, look, dude, you told me to play Michigan State today. I gave it out. They're getting whipped. So I don't want to hear about you don't like this freaking play. Matter of fact, I'm going to look up and see what the score of that game is right now. Yeah, they're down 21-0 at the half, Michigan State. So if you could give me that shitty game, you're going to agree to this game. Packers, Chiefs, under 48. I got 5 systems on them. Wouldn't think to play an under with the Packers and the Chiefs, but I know Mahomes is out. I look for the Chiefs to try to control this game. They can put up some good defensive performances at home when they want to. They gave up 6 last week to Denver. I know Denver is anemic. Joe Flacco is horrible, but Sunday Night Football, let's look for this game to go under. Packers, Chiefs, under 48. That is your Florida Pete, BIZ, Stewie combo play. That is it for the plays. This is it for how you want to get a hold of me. Email biz112763 at gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter at BizWinners. I give out plays during the week. Going forward, I am not going to do any more college videos. It's time consuming. Lines change. There's too much information that changes after I put these videos out that make me want to put out any more videos. Army I would have not given out Army this morning. There's other plays that I just would not give out based on where the lines move and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go do it like I used to do it, which is give out an email on Saturday morning. After I get all the information, I'll give out an email Saturday morning. I know lines move, but very rarely does people get so caught up in closing line value, and I get it. Closing line value does matter, but it's not very often that a game is decided on a original line and you don't cover on a closing line. Now, there will be times where I will absolutely give out a play anyway on Twitter. If I just like a play, I'm like, get this game now because I think this line's going to move. But I want to wait on some of these games because college football, there are so many games. And these smaller schools, and when you see money come in, like I said, when you see 70% of the money in bets on one side and that line moves the other way, that is an absolute red flag. So I want to put these plays out a little bit later in the week so I can get all that information. Now the NFL lines are much tighter, and I could put an NFL video out and nothing much is going to change my opinion on those plays. But college games, those lines swing wildly. So next week there will not be a video. As I said, I'm going to the Breeders' Cup. I will put out plays on an email. If you want on that list, email me. No charge, no obligation. I got a lot of people that have signed up recently. Just send me your information. I will put you on my list, and I will send you the plays via email. You also get my basketball plays, my hockey plays. If you want my Breeders' Cup report, it's $15 if you go to the track next week. It's to compensate me for my time and the cost of the data that I use to put that together. Last week was not a winning Breeders' Cup. There were a ton of favorites that won, although I almost hit the pick six on Friday for 12 grand. I hit 5 out of 6. My horse ran second. He got bumped. There was an inquiry. They didn't bring him up. If I get the inquiry, I hit for 12K. I didn't. 2 years ago at Del Mar, cashed for thousands of dollars. I hit pick threes, pick fours. Pick four hit 1,200. Hit 3 pick threes, all paying 700. We had a 17-to-1 shot. We had a phenomenal weekend, Friday and Saturday. We won several $1,000s. If you want an example of what I put out, email me. I'll send you one of my previous Breeders' Cup reports. You can see what the format is. I write up a brief summary for each race. I detail which bets to make, which win bets, exacta plays, pick threes and pick fours. I put combinations together for you to play the pick three and the pick four. It's the best way to attack these Breeders' Cup races because they have so many price horses that win, and you could spread and you could cash for some nice tickets. I always suggest to people to go with your buddies to the track, pool your money with your buddies, and have a great time. So if you're interested in the Breeders' Cup, contact me. I already have about 5 or 7 people that have already said, yeah, Biz, I want one. So I am going to put one out next week. So if you are interested in that, get a hold of me. Thumbs up, subscribe to the videos. When I put it out, you get a notification immediately. And again, let people know what I'm doing. Okay. Let me drink some vodka. That'll do it. Appreciate everybody hanging out with me this weekend, watching the video, supporting what I do. Big card of NFL football this week. Lots of tune and plays. College is looking decent so far today. Georgia Southern's rolling. FIU's leading Florida Atlantic. Indiana's down. But not a bad college day. Have a great weekend. Good luck with all your action. Enjoy the games. I'll be back in 2 weeks with an NFL video only. Next week, I'll be back with email plays only with some on Twitter. If you want the NFL, if you want the college, email me, say, Biz, please put me on your distribution list. I will do it in a heartbeat, and you will get those plays out. Next week, I'm leaving early for the track on Saturday. So that football email will probably go out early Saturday, or I might have to do it Friday night because I'm not sure if I'll have enough time to get that out Saturday morning. I'm heading to the track that day, driving out to Santa Anita from my cousin's house down south, and not sure if I'll be able to get that out in time. The NFL plays, I'll put those out throughout the week on Twitter, and the final plays Saturday night, Sunday morning. So that's all the information I have for that. Have a great weekend. Good luck with the action, and I will see you all next week. When he gets up under the lights to play his thing, and Harry doesn't mind if he doesn't make the scene. He's got a daytime job, he's doing alright. He can play the honky-tonk like anything, saving it up Friday night with the Sultans, with the Sultans of Swing.
baggies in their platform soles. They don't give a damn about any trumpet playing band. It ain't what they call rock and roll. And the Sultans, yeah, the Sultans, they play Creole. Creole. And the man steps right up to the microphone, says at last just as the time bell rings, good night, now it's time to go home. Then he makes it fast with one more thing. We are the Sultans. We are the Sultans.